We're now in Dublin, Ireland, before the start of our Irish Explorer Tour.
A 9-day tour from Dublin to Dublin. Although rarely spoken except by the old in the outskirts of the cities, Gaelic, its native language, can be seen in all signs together with English.
Along the way are several small colleges and the St. Stephen's Green at the end of the road.
This is a 9-hectare park opened in 1880 at the center of the city. At one corner of the park is a statue of Wolfe Tone, who was a leading Irish revolutionary figure and one of the founding members of the 1798 Irish Rebellion. The National Museum of Ireland on Kildare Street has displays of prehistoric Ireland, including early works in gold, church, treasures and objects from the Viking and medieval periods. It was established in 1877 and the entrance is free. Moving along towards the same vicinity is the National Gallery of Ireland. The entrance is quite unassuming compared to the artworks it holds. I'd consider this museum a more interesting and worthwhile place to go to if your stay in Dublin is quite short. Just a few meters also at the center of the city is where the fine shops are. Inside one of the buildings is this superb mural of tiles depicting a Viking scene. Baskers greet shoppers upon entering Grafton Street, which is a pedestrian-only street where the high-end shops are. This is equivalent to Istanbul's Istiklal Street and Moscow's Arbat Street.
Another one is the Karl Johan Street in Oslo, Norway.
On one side street of Grafton is this small Catholic church, St. Teresa's Carmelite Church. We visited for a while. This is inside the church. We're back on Grafton Street again, taking a look at the shops on the left and right of the street.
Towards the other end of Grafton is the St. Stephen's Green Shopping Center.
That's the entrance, and this is inside the shopping center. At the top floor of the shopping center is this eat-all-you-can Chinese restaurant with a great view of the park and the bustling city of Dublin. After lunch, we cut across St. Stephen's Green Park to get back to the hotel. This is inside the park. The next day, we come across a Filipino-Irish girl working at the hotel's restaurant.
Just a few blocks away from the hotel is another Christ Church, which is a namesake of the more famous one.
On the way to the hop on, hop off terminal, we had to go to the most famous hotel in Dublin, which is the Shelbourne Hotel, to relieve ourselves. We're still on the hop on, hop off bus, taking a look at all the roadworks going around Dublin. A shamrock is a young sprig of clover used as a symbol of Ireland. Saint Patrick, Ireland's patron saint, is said to have used it as a metaphor for the Christian Holy Trinity. The driver of this hop-on, hop-off bus was extremely talkative and moderately funny. If we could just understand him.
Walk around, we have the Chester BC Library and another croft, which is the largest one in Europe. Give an idea what Dublin would look like. Number 10, Dublin Castle.
However, we've been in the country for just 2 days. It's a bit hard to understand him with his accent.
Viking over 1,000 years ago. All the Viking artifacts are in there on display. And it's a lovely job. It's a lovely idea of what it was like 1,000 years ago. The guys, I am told to tell the tourists. That's you guys. Nobody buried. The forensic guys actually reconstructed very high taxes, but you did have the protection of the city. Outside the walls, well, there was nothing. Like that, a couple of traffic lights ahead of us is where I was born.
St. Patrick's Cathedral was founded in the year 1191, which is 161 years after the Christ Church Cathedral was founded. Similarly, its previous denomination was Roman Catholic, and its present denomination is the Church of Ireland.
Guinness is an Irish dry stout that originated in the brewery of Arthur Guinness in Dublin. It is brewed in 50 countries and available in over 120. The draft beer's thick creamy head comes from mixing the beer with nitrogen and carbon dioxide when poured.
Hop-on, hop-off buses are always the highly recommended initial way of getting to know a city. It gets you to the places which are considered the most important for first-timers. We always go the full way around before deciding on where to get down. Getting a place on the front at the top floor of the bus provides the best location for viewing. Riding the bus first thing in the morning when the windows are still clean is also a good idea, especially if you're taking pictures.
Get back to number 1. But if you want to go to the Phoenix Park now at the moment, guys, where Dublin Zoo is, hop on here at number 17. Alright? Well, the Gavin, from my totally refined Dublin accent, I come from the south side of the city. Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with the north side of the city.
James Joyce was an Irish novelist, short story writer, and poet. He contributed to the modernist avant-garde and is regarded as one of the most influential and important authors of the 20th century.
Ireland has gone a long ways since the Great Potato Famine from 1845 to 1849. When 1 million people died and 1 million more left Ireland. The economy of Ireland is now a modern knowledge economy, focusing on services and high-tech industries, and dependent on trade and investment.
The Good Friday or Belfast Agreement was a major political development in the Northern Ireland peace process, which included also the relationship between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland. Prior to the establishment of the Glasnevin Cemetery, which opened in 1832, Irish Catholics had no cemeteries of their own in which to bury their dead, as the repressive penal laws of the 18th century placed heavy restrictions on the public performance of Catholic services. Croke Park, which opened in 1884, is named in honor of Archbishop Thomas Croke, second Catholic Bishop of Auckland, New Zealand, and later Archbishop in Ireland. The park has a capacity of almost 75,000. There are 3 different hop-on, hop-off buses in Dublin, which are the red, yellow, and green. Different countries would have different options, some including a boat ride. It would also be a good idea to get a 2-day pass if the routes are completely different. You can also haggle for a discount if there are several people selling the same tickets by its designated stop. This is the only hop-on, hop-off bus we've ridden, which includes a free drink in one of the bars near one of its stops. Epic Ireland is the small glass building which we were able to visit, since our last hotel would be just about 100 meters away from it. It houses a small museum and several shops. Beckett was awarded the 1969 Nobel Prize in Literature for his writing, which in new forms for the novel and drama. In the destitution of modern man acquires its elevation. Although the weather in Dublin is a comfortable 5 to 16 degrees centigrade all year round, the months of July and August should be avoided when traveling there because of the rain. We're now in the same vicinity of where we started and is about to complete the hop-on, hop-off route. At this point, we can decide on where to get down and do our exploration on foot. St. Anne's Church was built in the early 18th century, following the establishment of the Anglican parish in 1707. In the early 21st century, the church presents itself as ecumenical within the tradition of the Church of Ireland. We've decided to get down at Christ Church Cathedral, which is near St. Patrick's, which are both counted as must-see places in Dublin.
Christ Church Cathedral, or the Cathedral of the Holy Trinity, is the cathedral of the United Dioceses of Dublin and Glendalough. It is the cathedral of the ecclesiastical province of the United Provinces of Dublin and Cashel in the Church of Ireland. Christ Church is officially claimed as the seat of both the Church of Ireland and Roman Catholic Archbishops of Dublin. Christ Church Cathedral is the elder of Dublin's two medieval cathedrals, the other being St. Patrick's Cathedral. The cathedral was founded probably sometime after 1028. The cathedral was originally staffed by secular clergy. The second Bishop of Dublin introduced the Benedictines in 1163. Christ Church was converted to a priori of the regular order of Arosian Canons, or Reformed Augustinian rule, by the second Archbishop of Dublin. In the 1180s, Strongbow and other Norman magnates helped to fund the complete rebuilding of Christ Church. As the cathedral of the southern province of the Church of Ireland, it hosts ordinations of priests and consecrations of bishops.
Christ Church contains the largest cathedral crypt, which is 63 meters long in Britain or Ireland. It was constructed in 1172 to 1173.
The Tudors is a historical fiction television series set primarily in the 1500s in England. This drama focuses on the early years of King Henry VIII's nearly 40-year reign. It was filmed mostly in Ireland.
As is well documented from a number of sources, the tomb of Strongbow was used as the venue for legal agreements from the 16th to the 18th century.
Strongbow was notable for his leading role in the Norman invasion of Ireland. The Norman invasion of Ireland took place in stages during the late 12th century, at a time when Gaelic Ireland was made up of several kingdoms. The Norman invasion was a watershed in the history of Ireland, marking the beginning of more than 800 years of direct English and later British involvement in Ireland. The present national flag of Ireland is a tricolor of green, white, and gold. This flag, which bears the colors green for Irish Catholics, orange for Irish Protestants, and white for the desired peace between them, dates to the mid-19th century.
We've left Christ Church Cathedral and we're on our way to the St. Patrick's Cathedral. which is just about 300 meters away from the Christchurch Cathedral. St. Patrick's Cathedral is also known as the National Cathedral and Collegiate Church of St. Patrick. It was founded in 1191 and is the largest church in Ireland. It is one of Dublin's two Church of Ireland cathedrals.
For most of their common history, both Christchurch and St. Patrick's held the status of cathedral for the Dublin diocese, a rare arrangement which only ended following the move to de-establish the Church of Ireland. In early times, there was considerable conflict over status, but under the Six-Point Agreement of 1300, Pacis Compositio, still extant and in force until 1870. The consecration and enthronement of the Archbishop of Dublin was to take place at Christchurch. Records show that the provision was not always followed, and many archbishops enthroned in both and at least two in St. Patrick's only. Christchurch had formal precedence as the mother and senior cathedral of the diocese. Deceased archbishops of Dublin were to be buried alternately in each of the two cathedrals unless they personally willed otherwise. The two cathedrals were to act as one and shared equally in their freedoms.
This is at the back of the altar where the stained glass is most exquisite.
The stained glass in this part of the church, which extended from the left side to the center and to its right side, gave it solemnity as well as a joyful atmosphere. The 1868 Church Commissioner's Report proposed making St. Patrick's the sole cathedral and reducing Christchurch to a parish church. After the English Reformation in the 1500s, St. Patrick's became an Anglican Church of Ireland. Most Dubliners followed the same line. In the 1530s, some images within the cathedral were defaced by soldiers under Thomas Cromwell. Neglect led to the collapse of the nave in 1544. And at the back of the church is this information and activity room, which we found only in this church.